Okay, coming back, I found us a series and it's a fresh one. So coming off, hot off the presses, I guess. We are in game number 1. Spawning here to the lower right side of the map. In this Korea versus Korea off, we have the red Zerg once again. Give it up for Solar. And his opponent to the top left, he might be one of the best TvT players in the world. Let's see how his TvZ is. He's getting proxies. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Cure. I guess one of the nice things is it doesn't matter what patch you're on, proxy barracks are still very frustrating to deal with. And he's putting these right outside the Reaper ramp. So shy of lifting the barracks and placing it in the main base, you almost couldn't get closer to Solar if you tried. And it is Reapers, make no mistake, not just based off of the positioning, but we have a gas that just came up at home. As someone who has been in and out of the scene, did TLO ever go back to maining random post beta? 7N, as far as I'm aware, prior to his swap from Terran, TLO is pretty much stuck exclusively with Zerg. I'm sure he's capable with the other races, but as far as I'm aware, he only plays tournaments as Zerg. Cheese wins against all builds because no builds have started yet. That's not a bad way to look at it. Honestly, Soda Pop. Solar did play a pretty greedy build for this, so I should highlight that really quickly. Like hatchery, gas, pool. It's pretty much the worst thing he could open with against Cure on this. I don't believe it's an automatic GG. I think micro can prevail until a queen gets out, but this is going to be rough. Immediately pulling drones into this is definitely what he needs to do to protect the rest. He wants to disrupt his own mining as little as possible. Forced to do some build cancels. Lanes are popping out in a second, but I mean, it's like 2, and if this is just the one Reaper, that's whatever. But the fact that there's more, Solar has to, of course, cancel the buildings he didn't want to finish, lest those cause problems. Killing the Zerglings is big, though, because these are the buffer for the Queen, and the combat drugs are so good that Reapers can beat Queens when microed correctly, but they need the aid. The Queens very badly need the aid of these Lings. However, that being said, it doesn't look like Cure's going to super all in with this. As you can see for the production, he's building Marines. That's not a mistake. He's withdrawing one of his barracks too. And this one, if it doesn't keep producing, it's just to send these home, not to continue the attack. So this barracks will be used for a combination of high ground and scouting, which is nice because it allows the Reapers now to shoot these Lings that are at the ledge, but also allows him to go into the base if he wants to. I mean, when you think about it, right? An Overlord scouts with 200 health and it costs 100 minerals. That barracks costs 150 minerals and it's got 1,000 health. This thing could scout all day if it wanted to, but he's actually bringing it back home as well. I think Cure did a pretty adequate amount of damage to this, forcing out, like, here's the thing. It's not that he killed a bunch of drones. He really didn't. He didn't kill a single drone, but he forced out so many Zerglings. That meant Solar didn't just get to hold down the drone button. He's not on a fast third. He's on a moderate third, and he doesn't have drones already prepared to transfer over. He's still saturating his bases. So this attack out of Cure was not committed. It definitely did adequate damage, and more to the point, it didn't leave him vulnerable back at home. I really like that he put the command center here on the high ground as well, by the way. We should probably move the rally guy. I just realized it's like in the way. Whoops. All right, there you go, guy. I didn't even realize that thing was blocking this whole time. It is still too early for me. 4:30 a.m. and I'm still not awake. Fusion core comes up, but this is a very interesting fusion core. Well, this certainly could be a battle cruiser. There's a lot of upgrades that come on the fusion core now. Liberator range is one, the medevac boost is the other. The fusion core is more than just a battle cruiser hotspot nowadays. Not with the new patch, I should say. Oh, but he doesn't want that scouted. That Ling getting into the base just saw the fusion core in production as well. So if Solar wasn't going to be prepared for anti-air, he should be now. But I gotta imagine Solar's gonna be making like a lot of queens, one way or the other. Roaches come down with this too, but it's gonna be more about the queens. how greedy is Cure? Did that third get scattered? Great question. No, it appears it did not. So he'll get away with that. But at the same time, even if the third base did get scattered right now, there's going to be a battlecruiser in play. And Solar's going to have to spend the next 2 minutes of this game dealing with that. Also, if you guys weren't around earlier, we got to witness the new change to the battlecruiser. That stun totally screws it over now. So when a battlecruiser teleports, it's stunned for 1 second before teleporting away to safety. And in that 1 second, we learned Vipers can abduct a battlecruiser and it interrupts the teleport. Whether that's intended or not, it does seem to be a little bit of a broken way to deal with battlecruisers. It removes their get out of jail free card, so to speak. But even without that, it's still just that 1 extra second is the difference of those queens getting the extra auto attack in. Some Terran players are really, well, was it cavalier with their battlecruisers? Doesn't look like that's Cure for now, though. He starts running away from the queens, which is great. Even though there's no spore crawler there, it was so tempting to run through that mineral line. However, let's not forget the looming threat, and that's why Solar made these roaches, so these Hellions wouldn't be able to pose another problem. Because he knew, I think he knew very well he was going to be chasing around this battlecruiser for a considerable amount of time. You misread the patch notes and thought it was the opposite. What do you mean? Overseer gets a good scout in the main. Oh, he sees the tech swap here to mech. I guess it's not really a swap. It's kind of what he's going for anyways. But the point is it's going to be mech. These roaches are a little bit more justified. I think the new lurkers are going to be pretty good. And I really want to stress that the new lurkers, watching TLL use them, I'm pretty convinced that new lurkers on Hive Tech are going to be a good way to play against Terran going forward. They've not classically been part of this matchup, but I really like the potential they bring with this 10 range. I don't know how I feel about these corruptors. 9 corruptors is an okay way to respond to things, but even without patch in play, you know, typically a mech player is going to have cyclones. Like, there's going to be units to deal with those corruptors in normal circumstance. Oh my god, look at that, by the way. That 1 second almost cost that battlecruiser its life, and that's what I'm talking about. Even without the abduct portion to it, it is so much more dangerous to stick around longer with these battlecruisers. I know it's just 1 second of difference, but you're gonna have to make the decision to go home like 5 seconds sooner. And the corruptors knew there wouldn't be anti-air to defend it. Oh my god, what a sick move! He dives past everything. He focuses down the battlecruisers. A full repair from these SCVs will try and keep this thing alive. I don't know for how long it's going to be able to do that. If he moves the battlecruisers, the SCVs lose the repair. So until he runs out of money, which he's about to, Cure keeps the battlecruiser alive, but not for much longer. He taps out. GG. Solar takes the game. Map 1 in these best of 2s. These are going quick. I thought the stun was after the jump, not before. Oh no, it has to be before. There'd be no reason to stun it afterwards. Because the entire reason why they put the stun in there was just to balance it out a bit. Like battlecruisers, I love battlecruisers. I'm a battlecruiser advocate. I got to masters only doing battlecruisers. Like, I love battlecruisers, but even I have to admit they're kind of broken in the live version of the game. This patch version, I'm unconvinced is the best way to deal with it, but at least it's a solution to a problem that they didn't have a solution to before. So obviously if it's too broken, they can readjust, but I think it's okay as is. I'm just not a fan of the way the abduct interacts with it. Anyways, we got game 2 coming up next. Thunderbird. So we continue on here with Solar versus Cure. I'm just now looking at the Liquipedia, and it appears the group is about halfway played out at this point. There's a lot of matches that still need to play, but they're about half-ish way played out. So we can start going over some of the scores and some of the results, but we have so many more games to go through for this group before we even think about the next one. And I think today, I think is groups A and D, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's not A and B, it's A and D. We'll get back to that after. Let's hop in the game, though. It is map number 2. He's got 1 win on the board to the bottom right. You know him. He's that Korean guy that speaks English real good. It's Solar. And his opponent tried to make mech work, but he did it without without cyclones. Died to the corruptors. Felt really bad for this guy. Cure. Sorry, what's that, guys? I was trying to fight off a yawn there. God, I'm still not awake. I wish I was a caffeine person. I feel like these wouldn't be so bad if I drink coffee. Life would be much easier, but I'll wake up. Give it once the sun comes out, I'll start feeling more awake. Actually, I just realized it is still pitch black outside. There's literally no sun to be seen. I got probably another 2 hours before that's the case. I have lived to this day when Nation Wars and Homestory Cup have better overlays, intros, and production than BlizzCon. Okay, look, I kind of agree, and there's a meme going around about this specifically. Nation Wars and Homestory Cup beating BlizzCon senseless. But here's what I think really sucks. It's unfair to judge off of just BlizzCon. BlizzCon had, and I know this from talking to people behind the scenes, some kind of impossible requirements to meet. And you're gonna cut corners here and there, and it makes sense. And you know, things are gonna happen, like they misspelt Cyril's name one time, and it's embarrassing and funny for sure, but it's also people being really overly critical about it. I think what's great though, with Homestory Cup especially, Nation Wars maybe a little bit less so, these are things that are like focused on StarCraft, whereas BlizzCon's focused on all things Blizzard, and StarCraft's just part of it, right? So it makes a lot of sense that the production's going to be a little bit more focused and featured here. Add into the fact that this is Homestory Cup 20. That means they've had 19 Homestory Cups to figure this out. BlizzCon's been around for like, how many WCSs have existed? Like 7? No, 5? Maybe 6? Like, my point is, everyone wants to throw this around like it's a funny meme, and it is. I'm not trying to be a no fun allowed guy, but it's kind of like making fun of a kid for not knowing how to do something. It's like, it's a kid. It hasn't learned yet. Everyone else has more experience and practice, and they've been through life. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. But yeah, definitely. Homestory Cup kicks it out of the park with production. And I think they've done a really good job. I obviously haven't seen what they're doing this year because I'm casting right now instead of watching. But every year they do not disappoint. Dennis's team with Take TV, top notch. But why not outsource StarCraft 2 to people that actually care? Oh, there's a million reasons, dude, and they're all politically bullshit driven. Because you got, you know, okay, so you put the production in. How much of the money do you get? Do you get paid enough? Does Blizzard have the budget for that? Blizzard doesn't have the budget for that because they put the budget in the prize pool. So they have to agree to have a less good production to have more prize money. There's like 1,000 things that go into this, right? I really wish the world was as simple as, why not that? Why not this? Like, it just doesn't happen that way. It's the same way with casting too, right? There's a lot of debate and debacle over who was casting BlizzCon. It's not just the simple, like a lot of, like, here's one of the biggest factors, right? You know how expensive it is for Blizzard to get these guys visas so they can work in the United States? Obviously, without question, no hate for Awesome Sauce and these other guys, but like obviously Mapu's the better observer to have for BlizzCon, right? Obviously there's talent that should have been there that wasn't. But the thing is, at the end of the day, there's so many other political reasons, like behind the scenes and argumentative things with probably corporate. All of these things make sense why some things look worse than they should. And I'm a big advocate for calling out bullshit when I can, but I have to be fair to Blizzard in this case. Comparing stuff to BlizzCon is really not fair, because I know about a lot of how impossible it was to put BlizzCon together. Anyways, those are just my thoughts, sharing them. We do have Solar open up the rocks. That's going to open up some more of this map control. Clear spread's looking pretty good too. I guess Cure's playing a little bit more conservative this game. I don't think the Reapers were good versus bad. I think they got the job done. It really was the follow-up that got him killed, and the kind of poorly planned mech play. Solar getting big scouts helped a lot too last game. This game maybe not so much on scouting, but a lot more on map control. So we do have 2 drops heading out, some Reapers and Hellions heading off to the side too, but I just feel like Solar's got too much to work with. He got a really nice economic boost here in the early game from having 62 drones in play. Thank you, Sank. Thank you, Sanka. And that's led to this huge income lead. So he's just got money to spare. These Banelings come forward. Nice focus fire on a Cure. Really good focus fire. This is before speed's done, so he can fight this on creep. Once speed is done, though, there's no battle he wants to take on creep. These are some really good like hit and run tactics here on the edge of the creep, but the Queens are also doing a really good job kind of soaking most of that damage. So these aren't picking off Banelings, they're not popping off Lings. And now they're really overstimmed, and this army needs to be picked up because there's 0% chance that survives in an engagement. Guys, did Solar? No, Tealo 1-2-0 over Solar. What do you think of these FTC BS and finding creators for YouTube's job? Yeah, I don't know, dude. You know what it is? Honestly, it's just not knowing how to police new media. I don't agree with it, but at the same time, I understand what they're trying to accomplish. And the whole kids creator thing, it's like, I saw this great reaction, this great statement. I can't remember who made it. It's some big YouTuber though, where it's like, YouTube, you can't make your videos too adult or we won't monetize it. But also YouTube, you can't make it for kids or we won't monetize it. So it's like, who do you make videos for anymore? Oh, this Bailey's, thank God for that pickup. And that one of my shot was all right. That pickup was good though. Those Bailey's are about to absolutely wreck Cure's front lines. Cure can trade out and lose some units here, but look at the trades he's been making so far. He doesn't want to give up this momentum. Resources lost reflect just shaving off these units, and such a small commitment at a Cure, but really well handled, is getting so much value out of this game. 14 creep tumors is kind of whatever. The fact that, oh, he just scanned his hatchery. If you see a macro hatchery coming down, you know that there's going to be more Lings on the way. He's going to be fine to keep producing Widow Mines and hopefully maybe even consider some more Hellions and Hellbats, although the focus is still on the bio. What I really want to see, I want to see him make that medevac upgrade. I want to see medevacs that move at 4 something movement speed. Oh, Widow Mines over here get some okay trades. Drop in the main base though, obviously the big threat making its way through the mineral lines. Here go the Banelings. He tries to focus him down. Oh my God, Cure's handling himself so well. Look, that last game looked silly and that didn't look great. This game, he's making up for it in spades. And if this is one of those games, by the way, where Solar is playing really well, I don't want to take anything away from him. But if Cure loses this, I'm going to just straight up be fucking mad because he's playing so good. Drilling class finally completes. This will be great because it'll allow the Widow Mines to stay burrowed a little bit more easily, but also get that burrow off immediately on the front line. Now losing, I think he lost a medevac full of Marines. If not, it was a mostly full medevac full of Marines. So the point is, he did lose a little bit of that frontline momentum, which has encouraged him to come back home and reload and refit, I guess. He's got vehicle upgrades as well, making these medevacs a little bit more durable, but I hope he loads some of these Widow Mines in because he's got drilling claws. They're pretty much set to get damage done. Oh no! Oh, thank God the Banelings were there. The Lynx would not have killed that in time. That was almost a huge clusterfuck, and thankfully Solar cleans it up. Widow Mines here though are not devastating Solar, but they've done something really interesting. If you noticed, he's staying at home. Creep spread is lessened. Ling presence on the map is less. And Cure just kind of gets to turtle up around 4 bases. It's funny because you look at the dynamic of what happened in that first game of the day, and you've got Solar running rampant because he had the freedom to get Lings out all over the map, and Soul sadly just died to it, right? It's a very similar situation. It's not like Cure has a bunch of walls or bunkers. He's just keeping the pressure on, so Solar doesn't have the freedom to go all across the map. 21 kills. 21 kills.
Attention shoppers, we have a client. We need to clean up on aisle Thunderbird. Thank you.
That's wow. Okay, that's the hit he needed to really get some solid damage done with these Lings, but there's still just so many Lings. How many have died this game? 126 have died in the making of this game. And of course, while this goes on, you still have drops. You still have just constant pressure all over the place. But Solar's also, through all of this, he's managed to grit down. He's able to get up to Hive Tech with a pretty noteworthy bank. His larva count's out of control because he's got those extra hatcheries. I mean, Cure's taking big wins, but he still hasn't cured Solar or killed Solar yet. And as he gets the adrenal glands and Ultralisk possibly, I mean, there's just so much more potential coming in. By the way, this is one of those games where Ultras would be a great choice because of the Widow Mines. Ultras are kind of a bit of a meme against Terran sometimes, but I really think because of the Widow Mines, Ultras are one of the best options he could have gone for. But a distraction down here doesn't drive the entire army away. Still putting pressure on the top side, and Solar has still left defense up here to try and deflect this. Widow Mines making it to the front line. Can they get the shots they need? Will this gamble pay off? No! Those are some of the worst Widow Mines of all time. I guess that Karma had to balance out after the shot that went down over here. One Marine, one Marauder could eventually kill that base. Okay, I don't know if this setting's gonna work the way I want it to. I've got something prepped and ready, and it's either gonna be funny or cringe or maybe a bit of both. We'll see. Either way, we got a Fusion Core and a Ghost Academy coming up. Some drop links to the main base. This is kind of a cute move out of Solar, but not quite the same effectiveness as something like this. Ultras make it to the front line. Widow Mines still fire off on the links, though. Oh, that was nice. You guys want to play a guessing game? You guys want to guess how many Zerglings have been dead since the last time we checked in? Oh my god! But okay, you want to guess how many Zerglings have died this game? We know the number's minimum 126. Far more than that since the last time we checked in. My guess is close to 200. I see a lot of you guys guessing close to that too. Let's take a peek. No, nowhere close. Who was the guy that said 340? Angel Del Muerte was the closest. 330 Zerglings have died in the making of this game. That is too many. That is too many Zerglings dead. Corruptors I like a lot. I didn't even consider these. He made these not just to deal with the medevacs, but they can soak Widow Mine shots a little bit better than most other things. They can also dive through for the Liberators that would eventually come into play, but not being here yet. Suddenly Cure is having a bit of a struggle dealing with this. I mean, he'll eventually kill the Ultralisk, sure, but he can't really take the time to clean up the Corruptors. He has to deal with the Banelings still. They roll by. Widow Mines get soaked up. Oh my god, I love this. The Corruptors soaking the Widow Mines is such a sick move out of Solar. These are really not important units. Losing these doesn't matter to him. But the thing that matters most is they don't die to a Widow Mine one shot. So Solar has finally turned the tides of battle after what is it feels like forever. It's only been 13 minutes. Widow Mines continue to search for these things. Oh, we're getting close to 400. We've broken the 400 threshold. 400 Zerglings have died in the making of this game. Liberators are out, but where are the Corruptors? They've seen them. Now they're giving chase. Enhanced Shockwaves is coming up. I don't know why. I guess it's just good to have. You know, have it and not need it, then need it and not have it. But there's no Infestors. There's no Vipers yet to deal with. I think Lunchy, he built one or two, right? Yeah, he's got one. I don't know that that's going to be that big of a deal. He's got to deal with these Ultras. These are the real threat right now. Race to the deep on Marauder sacrifice. Cure has got to get this together. Oh my god. Cure was running away with this game. I am so impressed that Solar is able to bring this back. But it's also like bringing it back to like the most blood sacrifices of all time. Like Solar's sacrificing blood to the blood god at almost 500 Zerglings. But all that pagan witchcraft might be paying off. The fresh mule still mindy as if he's trying to repair, but they can't out repair Caustic Spray. Oh god. Oh god. Two command centers in the air flying. Ultra's just running wild underneath this. More links popping off. We're over 500 links dead in this game. I mean, kudos to this one Liberator trying its best. We got a nuke on the way. That's wishful thinking. Both army supplies have been taken down, though, to quite a pretty bad number. Solar's got more income, though, so he's going to be able to just flood Lings and Banelings, and I think that is going to be what clutches in this game, unless Cure can get a couple of good Widowmine shots off. But with these Ultras soaking the Widowmines on the front lines, it doesn't seem to be happening. We're getting close to 600 at this rate, guys. I guess if you factor in the 50 Banelings, that's 600 Lings that have died this game. Good kiting of these Ultras, though. Oh, that Widowmine was the shot he needed to turn this around. Solar suddenly realizing, wait a minute, I dived a little too deep. Full retreat with the Ultralisks. But there's, you know, with the Corruptors picking off the Medivacs, there's not a lot left to heal up the stim. Every time Cure stims, it's pretty much blasting damage. Once he deals with the Ultras, he can maybe fall back a little bit and start topping off his units. But this is, as you can see, a pretty back and forth tug of war here in the middle of the map. Widowmine straight up for the Banelings once again. Very nicely done out of both sides. Here's the one with the better micro potential. Solar, as you can see, off crate doesn't have a lot of micro ability, but what he does have is brute force in numbers. And I feel like at some point that overwhelms and wins. Last Ultra finally gets picked up, but 3 new ones coming up to replace it. Not a planetary. Caustic Spray goes down. Even if he lifts the orbital to save it from the Caustic Spray, they'll die from the Corruptor auto attacks. I think Cure's just on his way out. This breaks my heart. Cure played a hell of a game, guys, but this might just be a bit much with that base going down. All of that income he's had, by the way, has just been boosted from these mules. That's expiring, and you're about to watch Solar have like 2,000 minerals over his opponent. Yep, that's pretty gross. Kudos to a good macro player, but Boo earns to the balance of this game. I can't, like, I'm struggling here. We're almost at 700 Zerglings dead. Zerglings are pretty nice, guys. Zerglings are pretty nice units, I gotta say. But this feels like an eternal back and forth. Like, almost, I swear to God, we've been here for like an entire lifetime. This one ramp being a huge point of contest. Trying to take a base now up here to the top side. Solar's starting to do some more run bys, and there's no planetaries, so there's our open season for these mules. Oh God, the mules! Look, I know drones are dying and there's a fight over there, but what we're just watching the bottom left is Cure's lifeline in this game. I think he's on the way out now. Never got the ghost, couldn't really get snipes. I think snipes would have been able to really make the difference in this game. GG, what a hell of a match, but Solar takes the 2-0. And I'm mad. I'm just grumpy and mad. Well played out of Solar for sure. Wait, hang on. Let's go back before the gate. Before we leave, can I pull this up? 7.
I like you a lot.
I do. Hey, Angel Del Marte. Thank you for the 19 months. 707 Zerglings died in the making of this game. I'm just gonna screenshot that.